What's up, everyone? Welcome to Moneyball. I have with me Matt Powers. Matt Powers is a little bit out of the ordinary for the athletes and some other people you're used to seeing on the show, but I am absolutely stoked to have Matt. Matt runs Powers Sports Memorabilia. So thanks for coming on today. How you doing?
You're welcome. With that intro, you assume I'm not an athlete. That's what I
I
hear.
read your bio. I know you're doing some deadlifts and some CrossFit.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I know. Thanks for having me on. Anxious to have a chat and see what information I can provide for you about the business.
My pleasure. Matt was cool enough, and this is what really, I can generally, if I'm face to face with someone, I can read them pretty well. I would say it's one of my fortes. But you had called me, and you asked about something that I had sent in to get signed. Now, there's just so few people in this industry. First of all, he's the owner. Even having one of his employees reach out to ask, but the owner himself reaching out and saying, "Hey, man, there's a concern here." That just absolutely wowed me. It really took me back, the amount of pride and the amount of, I mean, this is your business, you know what I'm saying? And the amount of pride, I don't know, man, second to none. That really impressed me. So right off the bat, I said, I got to talk to this guy and I got to find out, how'd you get involved with this? Because you have a killer fun job. And I'm sure you're going to tell me some of it is not as fun as I might think, but how'd you get involved with what you're doing?
So I was working for the Oakland A's at the time.
Okay.
And had an internship with them doing their premium seating internship, which doesn't sound like a lot because the Oakland A's stadium is absolutely terrible. So you're thinking they have premium seating there?
One of the worst.
Isn't everything premium seating there? They're all the same.
You know what? If you're not up where it's all blocked off in the uppers, then you're in premium, right?
They've had some interesting activities going on up there, let's just say, in the upper deck. So that's why they had to close it off. But the people that work for the A's are great. Yeah. But the ownership is on a different level. But so I was at a internship there, stopped that, and then I was looking for a job like everybody was online. This was in 2004. And a buddy I played high school baseball with was the manager of a sports memorabilia store. And so I reached out to him and we started working together there. And then I ended up managing one of the stores of this business, which actually, ironically enough, has closed.
Yeah.
And so that's how I kind of got started in the whole deal.
Wow. And that was 2004.
2004. Yep.
So a big one that's around here, and I know you know the name, Dave and Adams.
Yep.
That's right down the road from us, and they've done tremendous. I don't know if you have a relationship with them or not, but they are one of the big names, big games, in this industry, and they are right down the road from us. And they have kind of an interesting story of how they started real small and blew up. But you have such a niche, and it seems to me like your niche is, I mean, these names you have, Matt, are just, you have top players, both retired and active. And, I got to ask, like, getting the job at the sports memorabilia store turns into this extremely successful, autograph, memorabilia sit down signings. How does it go to that level, right? Like, I guess for the transition from, okay, I manage one of the stores to blowing up and I got a list of these names, right?
Yeah, that wasn't the initial kind of point of doing the business. So I wanted to kind of be just like a Amazon of like selling sports memorabilia. Like the goal originally was to be like a drop shipping kind of thing.
Okay.
Where I would just kind of carry everybody's stuff and sell it that way. Drop shipping stinks. It's way too much work. You're relying on someone else to basically be the customer service, to provide you with all the correct information. It's a pain in the butt. I stopped doing that a long time ago. It's well not worth it, for at least for us.
Right.
So then we started carrying, of course, physical products, which is essentially what drop shipping is, but now you just own the inventory. And that kind of spun into like, well, hey, listen, we're already kind of buying stuff from a lot of these signings here. What if we offered it out to our customers? And it started off, really slow, like most things always do. There's just people have high-end stuff and they have stuff that they want to get done certain ways. And they need someone on the other end who can talk to them, can walk them through it. Because majority of people that are doing this, they're doing it for the first time. And so they have no idea what this is. What's a blue paint pen? Do I get the card signed on the slab? Like this is questions that people legitimately are asking. And so they need someone to walk them through it and all that kind of stuff. And that's where we come in. And, my wife also works for the business. And so she does the majority of our customer service. Okay. And so she's great. She's got more patience with all that stuff than I ever have.
Right.
But that's what people are looking for. They need someone to walk them through it and to take care of their items and know they're getting their items back. And that's kind of, I don't want to say it's a downfall of the industry. It's a downfall of a lot of industries, but there are a lot of, shady characters out there that
100%.
won't send your item back, won't tell you it's signed, will take your money and run. It cracks me up when I see people that do kind of similar to what we do, and you can only pay them via Zelle or Venmo or check or cash.
Right.
And it's like, who's going to give you $800 for a Derek Jeter autograph with no recourse should something go wrong?
Right. And they're trying to hide the money on top of it. No, listen, you're absolutely right. How did it get? Okay, so I mean, a couple of years into it, and you said it started off slow. How does one then initially say, okay, you know what? I'm going to call Derek Jeter today, right? I mean, for the average person just hearing this, and like I said, if anyone, there's going to be so many people checking this out, and obviously going to your site and taking advantage of all these signings that you have. But I mean, Matt's got some huge names from Jeter to Bo Jackson, Acuna Jr. He's just got the biggest names there is. How does that process start, right? I mean, I know you don't go through the phone book and say, I'm going to call Matt Olson today. So how do you get into that part of things?
So there's two different types of signings that we do. There's one which is our own signing, where it's like, hey, we're taking all the pieces of this, we're dealing directly with the athlete, we're doing all that kind of stuff. And then there's the second part of where we partner up with the agent who actually has the deal or the contract with the athlete. For example, Derek Jeter is a Major League Baseball guy, so they have the deal with him, and so we partner with them and agree to buy a certain amount of pieces, and for that we get pricing on that. Then we take customers' items in, or we get our own items signed. But that's typically the only two ways that we do it. Is one, we partner with other guys who are doing the show and then doing the signings, or we do our own signings.
Now with memorabilia, are you big in the card? Are you in the hobby as well with cards and things like that? Or are you, I mean, I got to ask, because it sounds like.
Yeah. It's a good question. So I, like everybody else, had cards when I was a kid. Would go through the Beckett mag and all that kind of stuff, look up to see what the 1989 Upper Deck Star card for Griffey was worth,
Yeah.
And I did not do any. Yeah. I mean, listen, so on Sunday mornings, we would go with my parents to a restaurant to get breakfast, and 2 doors down was this card shop called What's on Second.
Okay.
And I would beg my parents to go and get a pack of cards,
Yep.
Not because I thought of any value of anything. I just wanted to see what I got.
Yeah,
and that's what's you didn't care, because that's what's so different about now. Everything's all about the value, and it's honestly nauseating. It's just everything is about the dollar sign. So I didn't do anything back until 2019. And honestly, the first card that I got back into it was Zion's 248 Prism. Like that was like the card that kind of got me back into it. Because number one, I love Zion. I love watching him at Duke, with RG Barrett and all those kind of guys. That was the card that got me back into it. And then from there, what are we, 5 years later now? And we do a whole bunch of autograph cards now, which of course you never did. Like nobody ever got the card signed. And that's pretty much all that we do. I would say of the stuff that people, you would know this, the stuff that people send us, I would say depends on who the athlete is, 75% are cards.
Are they really?
Yes, all cards, which we love. They're super easy to do, not as complicated as doing maybe like a multi-sign baseball where you got to make sure you get in the exact spot and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Cards are great. We love them. So that's the majority of what we do.
But have a lot of things changed with the cards, the Panini, the buy over with everything that went on there? What is it? Fanatics now, I think, took things over. What has changed in that regard with things?
Well, in regards to Fanatics, they used to allow cards to be signed. And then when they bought Topps, that's kind of all changed. But that changes on a monthly basis, it seems like. For example, Joe Montana is one of their guys. Sometimes you can get cards signed, sometimes you can't.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can get tickets signed, sometimes you can't. And I don't want to say they don't know what they're doing over there, but they just kind of flow with the wind sometimes. And where's the money leading us? Oh, tickets are slower now. Okay, let's open tickets back up. Okay. Cards are slower now. We can take a couple cards. So I think they're still trying to figure out their business, because when you buy a business like Topps or you hit into a new space like sports cards, it's not easy going. I mean, look at the whole uniform situation with baseball right now. It's not as easy as you think it is to kind of buy this other business and take it to the next level immediately. Like there's going to be mistakes made. And when mistakes are made, like they're just profound because everybody sees your mistake. I make a mistake, nobody really cares, right? But if they make a mistake, like with the uniforms, hey, that's a big deal. So that's really been the big difference with Fanatics, but they don't have a ton of guys. They have a couple big guys, like Burrow and Jerry Rice, Montana and whatnot, where hey, listen, if Joe Burrow, if we were to take a send-in signing where we could take cards for Joe Burrow, we would have them like in piles and piles everywhere. It would be hundreds of these things. And I kid you not, there was a signing where they allowed Joe Burrow to send in cards, and then like 2 weeks before the signing, the mass email goes out saying, "Hey, unfortunately, we can't take cards for Joe Burrow anymore."
Really?
So we had to refund everybody and send all these
that was
things
all
back.
cards, right? People weren't
All
sending
cards.
footballs in. Yeah.
Yes. One of the best things I've learned in this business is when it's too easy, something's going on. You're like, okay,
That's anything.
wait a minute
right?
here.
Yeah.
You're taking cards for no way. Surely that's going to change. That can't be right. And that was one of those deals. As soon as I got that feeling, I was like, wait a minute. This too many sales are happening here. There's got to be something going on.
Will agents sometimes broker private deals? Say, for example, I would say two of the hottest names right now, Victor Wembanyama and Connor Bedard, right? I don't know who they're signed with, if they're Fanatics or what they are, but will agents then sometimes, say they're in a contract or whatever, can they trump that and say, no, listen, Matt at Power, at Power Sports, you know what I'm saying?
Not if they have an exclusive. But that's not to mean that they don't do backdoor deals. We don't take part in those, but listen, I've got ears in the ground and boots in the, I hear all this stuff,
Right.
and it's just a part of the business, and it's not to say companies that have the exclusives don't hear about it either. Like they hear all this stuff, but it's kind of one of those things where it's like you don't want it to happen, but you don't want to piss someone off at the same time. So it's kind of like that Brady kind of thing over the weekend, which I'm sure you probably have heard about, where he was signing autographs at the business networking event there. Fanatics kind of let him do that because, listen, Tom's out there making money doing this. Tom's helping his brand. It's like, hey, do we really want to poke the bear this much,
Right. And at the end of the day, I mean, Tom Brady is a man and he's going to do what he wants to do. Right. I mean, I don't think you can really dangle a carrot in front of him with money. You don't
need it. Yeah.
Like he don't need it. And if Tom wants to sign something, he's going to sign it. That's a great point you just made with him. He's so difficult. He's one of those guys, where I have a Super Bowl ticket from a few years back. I think, I don't know, 3-4 years back that I do want signed, obviously by Brady, but there's no way in the world I'm going to fork out $5,000-$6,000. Right. So
yeah, we just got some tickets signed at the last signing he did with Fanatics about a month ago. I think they were definitely a couple grand. Right. We had a game used football that was 10,000. Like this guy got signed, but look at it this way, like the money is way too much. Like I'm in agreement with every single customer that complains to us. It's always about for the most part, about the money of the autograph. And I agree, it's way too much. And so the expectation is really like, hey, this autograph's got to be perfect, because in your case, it's like, hey, listen, if I'm getting it on a game use or a ticket that means a lot to me, it's got to be perfect because I'm spending out this much money. It means a lot to me. And then also a lot of these guys are selling stuff too. So, oh man, the autograph came out good, Matt, but it's not going to be a PSA 10. And it's like he touched the edge of the card, and I'm like, listen, I'm disappointed like you are, but like we don't sign the items, man. Like, so it's a tough situation we get to be in.
That's amazing to me that someone would even kind of comment to you on it. Like, listen, I'll send some items to you, which, I'm glad I have a relationship with you now, and I'm going to continue to get some things, signed and send in with you. There's not a chance I would ever call you and say, hey, listen, man, I got this back, but the way he signed it, the W is not right. Like, again, you're not the one signing it. Now, I'm sure we've all seen, or people watching have seen, the old Conor McGregor short on YouTube where he's doing this, right? And there's just a press running through, and he's talking to somebody and he's just doing, he's just literally taking a pen and a Sharpie and scribbling, and athletes do that, obviously everyone has their own signature, but so
that's why you've got to work with someone who's been in the business for a while, who knows, hey, listen, this dude's got a crappy autograph.
Yeah.
And just want to be upfront with you. And like, we try to show examples of what it looks like on the website before they buy it.
You guys do a great job. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I've seen all this stuff before. So I want to tell people, hey, listen, you sent in this item for Dennis Rodman and you want 5 inscriptions on a card. Dennis Rodman's got the sloppiest autograph out there. Like, he's not going to do 5 inscriptions. I know Dennis, he's not going to do that. So we got to make a different game plan for you here. And whereas most people just kind of let it slide and be like, oh, hey, by the way, we only did 1 inscription because that's all Dennis wanted to do. So if Conor McGregor were to do another, like a send-in signing, which I don't think he's ever done, that would be something to be like, hey, listen, dude, this is what it's going to be like. Like, we're going to have authenticators there and all that kind of stuff, but it's not going to be the best graph. And I'm sorry, but I'm not going to be the one to tell Conor McGregor to, hey, make this better. He's going to punch me in the face.
Yeah, he's going to punch you in the face. And, listen, was it pompous for him to do that? Absolutely. But
Sure.
again, he can do whatever he wants because there's people, they're seeking his autograph. He's not saying, hey, I want your autographs. And you know what, man? Honestly, I don't think the prices are extremely reasonable, in my opinion. I mean, everyone's kind of getting their cut, including the agents or whoever it is. And when you look and, for anyone listening, Matt's generally, we're talking, in the $200 range for a premier athlete, 2 to 3. Someone maybe a couple of years off is 100 and a half. I mean, that's how much less can you get, right? I mean, I would never send something in and expect it to be $59.95 and expect, number one, a reputable, good product, right? And chances are, like you said earlier, if it's too good to be true, it is. So if you see something for $60 for Freddie Freeman autograph, chances are you're not getting your money back, bro, right? I mean,
Well, and for us, what we do when people send us stuff, it's the customer service is on another level because we have to then process your item when it gets here. We've got to check it to make sure that everything's lining up. Hey, if there's something out of the normal, then we got to reach out to you. And then also, hey, listen, we've got to get it to the signing. We've got to now get it signed. Got to get it back from the signing. We've got to QC everything.
Yep.
Then we've got to ship it stuff to you. And we have endless spreadsheets on all these apps. If we have 100 athletes at one time, it's insane the amount of spreadsheets and bins we have and all the stuff that we got to organize. So that's a decent part of it is the people that we have to hire to customer service all these different times. If we were doing one signing a month, yeah, I could manage it, be no problem, right? And potentially we could keep the price lower, but to offer more and more stuff out there, it's just like a Fanatics brand, right? You've got to hire more people and like the price goes up because you've got all these extra costs that you have to put out there to make sure that you are taking care of the people who are sending you stuff.
100%, man. And that's perfectly worded. Shout out to Mrs. Powers because clearly she's the one making it happen. But no, truly, that's very, very well said. Now, a couple more questions. I'll let you get out of here. Enjoy the rest of your day. And again, thanks for taking the time. Do you get to know a lot of these guys on a personal level, or is it always just kind of business only? Get out of my face. I mean, obviously, everyone has a different personality. Over the years, not only with my show, but over the years, we're a huge baseball family. We go down to spring trainings. We meet a lot of the guys. We end up, kind of befriending them. And, Jackson Holiday, we went down, saw him this spring. I had the Moneyball hat on. He's like, hey, you're the money. I got that hat in my truck. You know what I mean? It's just such a cool experience for my kids to hear Jackson Holiday say, I got the Moneyball hat in my truck. Right. But do you get to know some of these guys on a personal level? I mean, or is it always just business?
No, definitely a little bit, but especially when I bring my oldest to the shows. My daughter Madison loves to go to the shows.
I was going to ask.
The guys love her because it's all guys at these shows for the most part.
Yeah.
And when they see an 11-year-old girl there, and they bring their Super Bowl, like Walt Frazier let her put on the NBA championship rings.
That's amazing.
People love talk. So we went to Las Vegas for the Super Bowl. We didn't go to the game. We went to the kind of whole festivities there.
Sure.
And we had a whole bunch of signings out there. And one of them was Davante Adams.
Okay.
And so we got this football from the NFL experience that she wants to have him sign.
Sure.
And I'm like, okay, Davante's going to sign at 3:00. We'll head on over there. And it was delayed for a little bit. So we went and eat. She's really wanting to meet him. So we're going there and we're waiting for about an hour for Davante there. Yeah. And I had her like, well, hey, listen, while you're here, we might as well help the other vendors out here. So I got a video for packing up all these Aaron Jones Packers helmets, ironically, because he's getting traded. And so she's packing them up. She got to put your work in before you get the autograph. So Davante does a time deal, meaning like, hey, listen, I'm going to sign for an hour. Whatever I sign for that hour is good. Yep. And I get paid for that.
Yep.
So we waited for the hour to be done. We came up to him. And of course, we're big Chiefs fans being here in Kansas City. So I go up to him and she's real nervous. And I'm like, hey, Davante, listen, man, we know this is kind of a sour, topic, but we'd love for you to come to the Chiefs, man. And he's laughing. He's like, I'm never coming to the Chiefs, man. And so he signs the football. And then on the box, he puts "Go Raiders." Yeah. So he didn't do it on the ball because, he didn't want to, ruin it for her. And so and they take a picture. He was great, man. He was
what a cool special touch to, to put it on the box like that. And obviously it means so much because, and I love hearing stories like that, because in all walks of life, not only athletes, your expectations of someone are not always, you don't always get as it's packaged. Right. And everyone looks up to these guys like they're gods in some cases, right? And I hate hearing the stories, man, where these guys don't come through. So hearing even little stories like that, like the Jackson Holiday or that Davante Adams story, I just love hearing them, man. They're so cool. Thank you so much, man. I do appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your day. All right.
Yeah. Anytime, man. Anytime.
Take care, brother.